What's going on, everybody? My name is Nick, and welcome back to the Nick and Doug Express, where I like to express my opinions on a variety of topics that you can check out on my channel. In today's video, I want to talk to you all about all community seasons ranked from worst to best. I made another community video before this, which I'll put down in probably the comments section. And this is one of my top sitcoms of all time. It's a phenomenal show. If you haven't checked it out, you should probably check that out before you watch this video, because I'm going to get into spoilers, and I don't want to waste any more time because there's 6 seasons to get through. So, that being said, Community, last place, coming in at the bottom, number 6, is Season 4. Now, this was the first time in Community that the format changed from having about 20 episodes a season to 13, and that stays true through Season 6. And this is also the season without Community creator Dan Harmon, because he got fired. A bunch of controversy. Really sad that all that had to happen behind the scenes. And basically this season gets new showrunners, so basically all of the characters and people running the show had to kind of have a different change of mindsets and just the way the show was going to be pushed forward. We come into the study group's last term, I guess, of community college. Jeff's gonna graduate, Pierce is gonna graduate, and there's a couple episodes here and there that are kind of average. Doesn't feel that community worthy, and I can't say it's the cast's fault. It's really just, I think, the showrunners, not even the writers, because obviously the writers have part of it, but it's the people running the show, and having Dan Harmon leave just really puts it in a bad taste, just because the showrunners don't know exactly how to run the show because they didn't create it. So with that happening, they run into some problems. But there's still some good episodes like Heroic Origins. Even the finale I kind of like because of just how goofy it is. But you can definitely tell there's a slight change in tone or quality in Season 4. It's just not drastically bad, but it's still an enjoyable season that on second and third rewatches I tend to like more and more, because I remember the first time I watched it I thought it was not that good, but it's still a decent season of sitcom television. Coming in at number 5 is Season 6. Now at this point, Dan Harmon's been back since Season 5, so you've already been having the main reins of the original creator back. So with him leading this last season, 13 episodes, it's still an enjoyable season. There's still a lot, especially those last 3 episodes of Season 6 are pure community gold. And there's a couple other episodes in Season 6 I like, but again, because you're missing that core cast, by this point Chevy Chase and Donald Glover have already been gone, and then cut Shirley, Yvette Nicole Brown, leaves at the Season 6 premiere. She's in the finale. I mean, she's not totally gone, but she's really not there for Season 6, which means you have to bring in Keith David, and then also bring in Paget Brewster from Season 5 to fit in those roles, and just basically update new characters. And it's fine because you have to do it. It's the last season. It's what you got to do. But it just feels really sad when you think about it, because this show I feel could be like top tier gold. Not that it's not gold now, because it is one of the best sitcoms of all time. But if you had the last 3 seasons just as good as those first 3, this sitcom would probably be like even more infamous than it already is. It would probably be all over the place. But it's kind of been not as, I guess, around just because of, well, 1, it was only on Hulu for the longest time, and then 2, people kind of gave up on it after the first 3 seasons because of all that stuff. But Season 6 is still really enjoyable. After rewatches, the seasons do tend to feel more enjoyable. It's just those first 3 that you can really tell are very up and coming, very in your face, just like this has never been done before. And you have those core cast members, which makes Season 6 just less, not fun, but just not as enjoyable, because you have new characters and you have to grow them out, and it's just like you miss the old cast members and you want them to be the ones that end the show. And because you don't have that end with all of them, not that it makes it less of a good end, because I feel like the series finale is as good as episode as you could do for Community. It's basically almost perfect. It just is missing the core key cast members of the study group that would have made that one of the best finales of all time if they were able to just have that group put together. But didn't happen, so it comes in at number 5. Number 4 is Season 5. Now this is when Dan Harmon came back to be the showrunner again, because he created the show, he should be in the reins, and really making that gas leak year just should never have happened. But besides that, season 5 as a whole, 13 episodes still, just like 4 and 6, and the first 5 episodes of season 5 are very just classic Community. You get that repilot, you can already tell the flavors are flowing again like Dan Harmon originally had in the first 3 seasons, and you have every cast member there except Chevy Chase, which is the first departure, which just makes the show very kind of sad. He's in the premiere of season 5, but it's a cameo, and it's just kind of like, it just makes it sadder that he's there, but I get why they did it, but then he doesn't come back. And for the most part, season 5 works very well because everyone there is there except Pierce. And sad, but you can't do anything about it. And after the first episode of season 5, you get the next 4, which has Troy and Abed still doing their thing and all those funny storylines you liked from Community. And it feels like Community again and the way it should have always been. It's when Donald Glover leaves that really just, even then, like, you thought Pierce leaving, oh, it's sad, but I guess they can still go on. Then Donald Glover leaves, and it's first 5 episodes are fantastic. The episode he leaves is fantastic, and I understand why he left. It's just, even when they like wrote Pierce out, like they still did it without him being there. It was sad then, but then you're just leaving another character that is so beloved. And then once you get to episode 6 of season 5, it's not that it's bad, because the quality's always been good, just like season 6. It's just that small drip in the content because Abed's not there to, or Troy's not there to do the Abed bits, and it's just feels like that key is missing. And even though Abed's still a great character, you can't help but miss those dynamics immediately when he's gone. There's still a couple standout episodes after Donald Glover leaves, but I feel like the second half of season 5 isn't as good as the first half just because of those key elements, and it just kind of puts you in a not depressed state, but just makes you like, what could have been. Coming in at number 3 is season 1. Now, season 1, again, I've already been saying all these seasons are good in my opinion, but now we're getting to top tier level. Season 1 is when they started the show. Dan Harmon, all the cast, everybody's there from first episode to last episode. They had like 26 episodes in season 1, which is a lot. And for the first few episodes, you feel like it's kind of a normal sitcom. It's got a different dynamic, which pulls you on already. But then once you get into those new tropes, those just parroting other sitcoms, doing a bunch of meta references, once you get to that Modern Warfare episode, even before that, but that Modern Warfare episode just solidifies the show as next level stuff. And you could tell that they were just, this show was going to become some sort of icon. And the first season comes in at number 3, not because it's like that bad. It's really hard to rank 1 through 3 on a certain level, but I would put it at 3 because they were still trying to find exactly how to tonally even out everything. And I feel like the beginning doesn't exactly set up what you're going to get for in the Community show, or even season 1 until the second half. So not that it's even a bad thing, just I feel like once the other seasons get going, you can actually like settle in and be like, okay, this is the show. It's going on at the same pace, unlike the first season, which it felt more toned differently than it was originally set up to be. But it's still a fantastic season, especially with everybody there, learning their personas, just feeling the vibes. It's really just a great opening season, and I couldn't have almost asked for anything better than that. So coming in at number 2 is season 3. Now season 3 is top tier Community still. It's really sad that it's the end. Coming off of season 2, you're like hoping they keep that quality level, and they really do. Like season 3 is still fantastic. It's really hard to compete with 2 and 3 because 3 basically is just on par with 2, but I think it's just slightly below because the little bit of the subway thing is not exactly my thing. It's still funny, enjoyable. It's not like it is that big a deal to me, but it just kind of felt heavy-handed. I know why they had the subway plot in there. They do a lot of ad things in the show, like the Honda, I believe it was in season 6. Like they do things for the money to be able to help the show out, and it makes sense. It just, to me, sometimes it felt kind of like, okay, but it's still a fantastic season. You still have phenomenal episodes. There's so many phenomenal episodes in that season. It's unprecedented, but it only comes in at number 2 just because it was really hard, and I had really no other reasoning before to make it like number 2. It's really hard, but I still love it to death. Still had about 20-ish episodes. First 3 seasons had about 20 episodes each, so as you can tell, coming in at number 1 is season 2. Season 2 just doubles down on everything season 1 did and goes full steam ahead from the first episode of season 2 to the last. There's really no bad episodes in my opinion. There might be a couple just average-esque episodes, but even those are fine, and there's like 2 maybe. And you can just, it's so bingeable, the entire show is, but season 2 is just them doing everything they learned from season 1 and just going full steam ahead for basically all of season 2. And I've read and heard and listened to so many of these actors and them talk about the show, and it just shows how much of the enjoyment and just how much fun and just how bonkers it is. My favorite episode is the epidemiology zombie apocalypse episode. I still remember the first time I watched it, I was like, how are they gonna pay this off and actually have it make sense? And when they did it and it was over, and I realized just how this show has formed its own, I was like, this show is something else, because it can take a community college and turn it into this fantasy show that somehow still makes it into reality. And a good maybe interpretation, or a good thing I heard about the way Dan Harmon created the show, is that the characters are real. It's just the world is the playground. It's a fantasy world. The characters are real, but the world is the fantasy. And so it really shows, because if you don't have those characters and feel for them and like want to follow them, you're not going to want to care. But the characters get deep, real emotions, and that's my favorite part about the show, when even characters like Pierce or characters like Troy can change and grow in their study group, and just how all these dynamics are just formed throughout the show is just phenomenal. And that's why I feel like if the show ended with all of them together, it would have been even more perfect. But again, can't happen, didn't happen. But besides that, season 2, phenomenal season. This show is still top tier, one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And I did a character ranking, so I was like, I needed to talk about the seasons because it's something I really want to talk about. I love talking about Community with my friends. I got all my friends into it. And Dan Harmon as a creator, I love that guy, dude. He's only really done Community, and Rick and Morty is like his big stuff. So if he ever makes another show, I'll be super interested to see what that becomes, because the guy just knows what he's doing. Community. But again, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I thoroughly enjoy making these types of videos because it's just me talking about stuff I love. And if you resonate with it, please express yourself in the comments section. Tell me other things I should talk about. Give me a bunch of ideas. I love talking about all this types of stuff, so feel free. It is greatly appreciated. And I think that's all I got to talk about with Community. I mean, I could go on, but I feel like this video is probably long already, so there's that. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace, guys.